is Max Access, where Mackenzie Barwell takes you closer to members of Forge FC off the pitch on the Forge Audio Network.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this episode of Max Access. I am your host, Mackenzie Barwell, coming to you on March 20th, 2024. The gap is closing between now and April 13th, aka Forge FC's home opener against Cavalry FC. Of course, this game promises to be an entertaining one, being this 2023 CPL final rematch, but it just got better. Any fans in attendance will receive a 2023 CPL Champions replica medal courtesy of CarStar. So this experience won't be one you'll forget. We actually did this last year. Not only did the stands look so cool, everybody wearing the same medal, but the replica versus the one the players actually got, not very many differences. I genuinely couldn't tell which one was which. So if that doesn't give you a reason to root for Forge FC, I don't know what does. This episode I'm very excited about because I had the opportunity to chat with the Forge FC player you will riot for, Baker by night, Forge favorite, Dom Samuel. He and I talked about his experience with Forge both on and off the field, whether or not the team will have to adapt their defensive line because of some key player departures, and then, of course, I had to ask him what his advice would be for anybody entering that pro combine on the 27th. So stick around if you want to hear this conversation. I'll throw right to the interview. Welcome back to the Audio Network, and thank you for joining me from your living room this afternoon.
You are most welcome, Matt.
So I'm catching you after practice. Training camp brought to Forge by WestJet has started. It's underway. I talked to Alex last week briefly about it, but can you just give us your perspective on how that's going and the turnaround after a couple weeks off from CONCACAF?
Yeah, no, I think it's going well. The coaches are happy as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Everybody came back with good fitness and just kind of ready to get going.
Yeah, I will say though, last week you got kind of lucky, a little bit of false hope maybe with the weather, and now you train in the snow this morning?
Yeah, Mother Nature gave us the okie doke.
That's too bad.
They gave us the okie doke. Yeah, it was beautiful last week, and then snowing right now. It was during training. Has been fun the last 2 days.
You guys were shorts and t-shirts last week when I was in the stadium, and then I woke up and I was like, tough for them.
Pants, 2 shirts, jacket, hat, gloves.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
When did your time end with the lumberyard? It wouldn't be an episode with you if I didn't at least address that side quest in your life.
Low-key, it hasn't.
Okay, so it's still kind of just on the side right now.
Yeah. Let's say if we do finish early, then I might kind of pop over there just to help out.
Yeah. Okay. Nice that you have that flexibility. I thought it was kind of like an all or nothing deal.
No. The guy who owns it is really, really, really good with that, especially with me, because he knows how hard I work, and that if I'm ever available and he needs the help and whatnot, that I'm always good to come around and do that. So
what's the owner's name?
Tony.
All right, I just want a quick shout out to Tony for the accommodation on behalf of the Forge FC community. Dom, the clock is kind of ticking here until the home opener, and I think what's cool about that is that we know it's not just a soccer game. There's so many other things for the fans to enjoy, including a medal giveaway. We've got the unveiling of that 2023 championship banner, and then everyone's got the opportunity to also watch these new transfers come debut. So from your experience, now that you've got 5 of these under your belt, what do you think stands out about a home opener? Maybe different from regular season games? Is it like a feeling that you get when you walk out?
Yeah. There's always that exciting feeling when you get to open the season at home. Whether it's your first game or your third game or whatever, that home opener is very special, especially for us, and definitely for the fans, because they're eager and ready to see how we are, what changes have been made, and if we're going to be better, hopefully better than the season prior, right? So
yeah, one of the biggest things that I noticed when I joined the Forge FC community last year was the connection that they have with their fans and just that community again overall, whether that's through a home opener giveaway or through training opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure that you've seen that almost evolution and relationship grow over your time here. So what can you say about the importance of that connection and how it's actually contributed to this club's overall success?
Oh, it's massive. It's massive. I mean, like, Hamilton's always had like a large following in terms of like sports teams, but as like the years have gone by, the community relations team and whatnot, like, of the club, like, they've done such a good job of making sure that everybody's like involved and together. And so, with, I guess, with like the help of us being like very successful and whatnot, I've seen that community grow massively over the years. And like, it's very important, at least for me, that they have that connection with us so that we can continue growing the community throughout the years. And so, for example, we can have a game that looks like the Ticats, right? Like, instead of 6,000 to 7,000 people in the stands that are all the Forge FC community, we can have 10 to 12
Yeah.
within the coming years, right? So, like, yeah, no, I've seen a big growth in that, and I hope it continues.
I would imagine it's also very meaningful to see some of the same faces come back year
Oh,
after year. I think for me, at least my experience, I met a few of the fans and there was something so special to me. And I'll have to shout out my girl Isabella here. Her and I met like the first, I don't know, a couple games of the season. And,
mm-hmm.
Seeing her time and time again come visit me and my opening hit of a first game. And then at the end, at that CPL final, it like kind of gives you that extra motivation. I'm not trying to, speak on your behalf, but it just from my standpoint, I got excited every time.
Right.
Just
No,
to see her.
you're right. You're 100% correct. Like, especially all the fans in the in that section that I love to be in so much.
You know what? I was going to get to that because I thought it was funny how last year I remember asking you about your battalion experience. I showed you the photo of you with like the orange hair. It's so iconic.
Yeah.
And then this year you went back. So yeah, please elaborate on your time and what it feels like to be immersed in that section.
It's a time. It's definitely a time. Like, I built a very good relationship, especially with like a few individuals that are in there. And they welcome me with open arms every single time. Like, especially when like I surprise them, because they never know when I'm gonna be there.
Yeah,
Right?
they must love that, eh?
Right?
Yeah.
And so, like, during the national anthem, I'll kind of like run in and just kind of
Sneak
walk
over.
up and just say what's up, and everybody looks over and goes, "Holy shoot!" You know what I mean? Like, Donald Sam's here. Like, this is about to be like the best game ever, and blah blah blah. And make sure that they, they're always cheering us on during the games, but like, maybe with me there, it could be that much louder and for that much longer throughout the game, just to kind of hype the boys up and get us going. And rain or shine, like, those guys are like out there and passionate, so that's it's very good.
Have they ever told you like what they'll exactly do? I know it says if Dom scores, we riot, but do we know what this riot is going to look like?
I've gotten a couple. Of stories.
How do we
A couple
prepare?
promises, let's say. One may or may not be a field
rush.
field rush. I know shirts are coming off.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, I can make that happen this year.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, hey, me too.
Dom, on the same theme, I want to ask you about the inaugural Forge FC Pro Combine because that's coming up on the 27th. It's the first one in the league. Players have an opportunity to showcase, everything that they bring to a soccer pitch in front of not just Forge FC coaches, but also NCAA, U Sports, like this, an entire variety. League One as well. So I would imagine if you had that opportunity, maybe at the university level, you'd be right on it. But what do you think? Can you speak to the importance of that with growing soccer, not even just within the CPL, but also at the grassroots level?
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely important to have these opportunities to showcase your ability, right? Especially in front of, a professional club in your city, let's say, or, if you're from the Toronto area and you want the opportunity to go to the next level, the club is actually putting something on that gives you that opportunity. I know that it helped me, something like that with like Sigma FC, my club back in the day. Like they always put on a showcase every winter that is somewhat like the same thing. They invite different teams, and like our team and whatever. Like we play certain amount of games. College coaches, scouts, whomever, they show up, and you get to showcase your stuff. And actually, that's how I got recruited to go to my school at Southern New Hampshire University, right?
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, and several others from Sigma, like that's kind of how they got their chance to go to universities and stuff. So I think it's a big thing.
I think it's so cool too that you don't have to come into this expecting that necessarily you'll get to the CPL or maybe the highest
Right.
professional level. Like I think it's awesome that there are coaches from different kind of pathways and there are still opportunities. That's why I just want to reiterate that to anybody listening who feels like maybe on the fence about it. If you still think you have something, it's not a one lane thing.
Right. Yeah. And like stuff like that takes time. You know what I mean? Like you can come in and like say like I can speak on like my behalf. Like I went into that showcase like thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna go pro. like that's my goal. Like I'm gonna do this. Somebody's gonna see me. I'm going to Europe. Like
And it's over overseas.
overseas, I'm getting paid million. You know what I mean? But then like you
Right, I
said,
guess it
like
goes
there's
both ways. I
yeah,
see what
you
you're
know what I
saying.
mean?
Yeah.
Like you said, like there are people from different pathways there. So you can go from wherever you are now to maybe the college level, and then from there develop even more, and then have another opportunity to then make it to the professional level, right? Or you can skip one of those levels, but like you actually have those opportunities to get to either or.
Yeah, there's a couple stepping stones involved for sure. What else would you say? What is your wise advice after an entire professional soccer career for anyone who wants to stand out and leave a lasting impression? What's Bobby Smirniotis writing on his clipboard? What's he looking for?
I don't know. Just put 110% every single day. Treat every training session like a game. Practice how you would play. Stuff like that. Um, there's not much I can really say, but that.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Right.
I want to shift gears and ask you about the 2024 roster.
Okay.
A few players like yourself and Malik during CONCACAF kind of shifting around that back line, potentially playing outside of maybe your normal position at times, with the departure of some key defensive players. So I know that the style of play of this team is very solidified and that's not an option to abandon it. But is there any way you would expect this team, and particularly from a defensive standpoint, to have to adapt to some of the losses of, maybe Manny or Abu and Rama, for example?
Yeah. To be honest, no. I think all of us are very prepared
Yeah.
in terms of that. Like, obviously, we knew like who was going to be leaving, and not necessarily knowing like who's going to be returning or whatever. But like, we were all prepared to like play in any of those positions.
Yeah.
As you know, like I've played in every position in the back line, so like me going to the outside or being inside, like it doesn't matter to me at all. Obviously, one's a little bit more running than the other.
Right. What do you prefer, actually?
It depends on the day. It depends on the day. Like if I'm feeling energetic, I'm ready to go, then put me on the outside. I'll get more touches on the ball, and have a little bit more fun, let's say. Um, but like I'm very comfortable in the middle, and that's like where I like to shine, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I
So
think to your point about everybody being prepared to step up, I think you saw that in the way that the team performed in CONCACAF.
yeah,
Even
hundred
Alex
percent.
last week when I spoke to him said, you know, maybe look at the score and you don't see it objectively, but he said that was one of the best games, if not the best games we've played all last year. So
Yeah,
I
100%.
wouldn't expect this team to struggle by any means when it comes to that.
Yeah. Like even some of like the Chivas players, like they looked at us. One of them looked at me at the first game and was like, "Wow."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Yo, you guys are good. You guys are good. Like this is a very good game." It's like, "Yeah, man, we're trying here." Like, like it's not much else I could say, but like, yo, we're trying. And we're
we're good. Like, what did you expect?
right. We got some quality, man. We're not just gonna roll over here.
Was that mid game?
That was mid game.
That's too funny. This is why we like to mic up players, because we
I
don't know about these
swear.
little conversations.
Yeah, we were just chatting it up for like a little bit. And it's probably like a little stoppage of play, and he was like, "Yo,
This is the inside
made me feel good." Some of those guys getting paid millions of dollars and whatnot, and they're stepping toe to toe. Like not that I didn't think we would do that, because like we're that type of team. We're a big game type of team. So if any team like that like comes our way, like we're not gonna shy away from anything. We're going to be on the front foot. We're going to showcase our quality, and clearly it showed.
Yeah,
So.
no, you definitely like rising to the occasion. And also, yeah, you mentioned the resources that club has is just insane. So I can see why you would have that, mentality. Okay, kind of back to what I was saying before. I know I gave you the context and more so the ways that you have to adapt going into this season, but what are you excited about? Like I know that it looks a little bit different, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot of these core guys from that 2019 team, but also a ton of younger guys who are really, really starting to develop, like KJ and even Zane now coming from Sigma. Malcolm and Noah got another year under their belt, so I would imagine there's a lot of cohesiveness on multiple levels.
Yeah. I'm excited to see how those guys step up and perform. I know they will, and they're just going to get better as this season goes along. For the new guys that are coming in, hopefully it's an easy transition. We try to make it that way, so that like once they do get here, it doesn't take forever for them to kind of get integrated. Like they're just in there, everything's good. They can start the first game, and it's like nothing's changed.
That seems like the general consensus, though, when I talk to returning players and new players.
Yeah. We're here. We're like a family. We try to make everything as comfortable as possible, and so there's no kind of awkwardness or what have you, right? Another thing I'm excited for is to see how other teams are shaping up. You have some teams who are doing like a full roster turnover, right? York, it's like, for example, like they have a whole new ownership, right? So like things going to change over there for the better. Who knows? So I'm excited to see like kind of how different teams are getting their stuff together, because of course like we have a target on our back. We've always had that target on our back. People want to take that title from us. So
yeah, and that's been a big conversation as well with some of your teammates, but also Coach Bobby, because he talks a lot about that pressure being a privilege, and how the rise to the top, I think, is the conversation that's commonly had about how hard that is. But then Bobby's always the one emphasizing the difficulty of staying there. And even Alex, mentioned too, there is sometimes this false sense of entitlement when there is that target on your back. You just kind of enter these games thinking that you are the one to beat, which you are.
Yeah.
But how have you seen this team, maintain that drive and hunger to win after 4 championships now?
It's just the standard that we've set from day one. We come in, we have all these like meetings and stuff, and it's an attitude thing. Like, yeah, you're on this team that does well, but we do well because we put the work in, and you have to put the work in. If you don't, then like you shouldn't be here. Right. So, yeah, I think that's like why everybody has that drive and that mentality, because obviously like the feeling of winning is great, but like not everybody gets to be a champion.
Yeah.
Every year.
And I think, yeah, you're right. That quality is kind of a given. Everybody on this team can play, but it's like the attitude and the behavior. That's the bar that's set, especially in the locker room, and I can just see it in the way that everybody interacts. Dom, thank you so much. That's everything I have for you. I really appreciate you taking the time after practice. I know you said it was a long one this morning, so
Yeah.
you are the best. Thank you as always.
No problem. Anytime, Mac.
A great conversation with Dom Samuel. As per usual, once again, thank you to him for taking the time. Some pretty good advice, too, for anybody entering that pro combine on the 27th. If you are, good luck. But for everybody else listening, I expect to see you back at Tim Hortons Field on April 13th, this time with a medal around your neck. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will be back to check in on the audio network soon.
Thanks for listening to Max Access on the Forge Audio Network. If you like what you heard, please like, follow, subscribe, comment, and share.
I've still got to redeem myself on those cookies. I just remembered I owe you
100%. 100%. I will never forget that. Fans, if you're listening, go back.
Somebody needs to hold me accountable for giving Dom peanut. No, what were they? Cookies with peanuts in them.
Yeah, it had like peanut butter.
Dom's allergic to peanuts, by the way.
Yeah.
Bobby almost killed me in that episode of Behind the Beard.
Just an FYI, so is Benny.
Okay, this is all great to know. Send me the list of peanut allergies.
That's it. It's just us two. So like, if you ever try to do this with Benny, you know not to.